Steve can play Minecraft for 6 hours straight.
Steve can dig tunnels until his fingers go numb.
Steve can watch Minecraft YouTubers for an entire afternoon. But ask Steve to do his homework for 20 minutes? Suddenly, Steve acts like he's being tortured in the diamond mines. Steve promises to work for an hour. But 5 minutes later, he's already sneaking toward the fridge. Pretending cleaning his inventory counts as productivity. Here's the paradox. Steve actually knows that building, crafting, or studying would bring long-term rewards. But Steve still picks the quick hits. Games, videos, snacks. Why is that? Why do some players out there grind every single day? While this Steve would rather take a nap in his dirt house? And the big question, is there a way to trick Steve's brain into liking hard things? Part 1. Dopamine. The answer starts with a tiny chemical inside Steve's brain called dopamine. People call dopamine the pleasure chemical. But that's not quite right. Dopamine doesn't make Steve feel good. It makes Steve want. It's the craving chemical, the invisible diamond dangling in front of Steve's face. Steve hasn't even picked up the diamond yet, but the mere thought gets him sprinting. Part 2. The experiment. Scientists once gave a character a lever. Every press zapped their brain's reward system with dopamine. The result? Steve pressed the lever over and over for hours. Forgetting to eat, forgetting to sleep, pressing until he collapsed. Then they blocked dopamine. Same Steve. Suddenly wouldn't move for anything. They weren't broken. If a diamond was placed directly in his hand, he still smiled. He just had zero drive to reach for it. Steve's brain works the same way. Dopamine isn't about enjoying diamonds. It's about chasing them. Part 3. Dopamine tolerance. Steve's brain has a rule. Homeostasis. It always tries to stay balanced. When Steve floods his brain with games, junk food, and videos all day, the brain adapts. It dials down dopamine receptors. Like eating enchanted golden apples every single day at a 5-star Minecraft inn. Soon, if someone hands Steve a regular diamond, Steve sneers. Boring. Where's the enchantment? When Steve sits down to study, his brain compares. TikTok? Fireworks. Textbook? One sad sparkler. His brain isn't broken, just spoiled by enchanted apples, and no longer cares for plain ones. Part 4. The Dopamine Detox. Steve decided to try something radical. A dopamine detox. If Steve gets stranded on a deserted island with no phone and no games, suddenly mining one block of stone feels amazing. That's the logic behind Detox. Remove the constant enchanted apples so plain ones feel incredible again. There are 2 ways Steve can detox. Number 1, radical detox. 1 whole day. No phone, no games, no junk. Steve sits with boredom. And when boredom hits hard, suddenly reading a crafting book feels fun. Number 2, light detox. Once a week, Steve avoids one high dopamine behavior. Maybe no screens on Sundays. Maybe no gaming on Wednesdays. A mini reset. The point isn't to punish Steve. It's to reset his brain. Make plain diamonds feel like enchanted ones again. Part 5. The reward system.
Steve knew he couldn't detox forever. Enchanted apples are fun, after all.
So Steve built a system. Mind first, reward after. If Steve eats the enchanted apple first thing, scrolling in bed before doing anything, forget it. Motivation gone. Instead, Steve must flip the script. Work first, diamonds later. Example: 2 hours of building earns Steve 20 minutes of guilt-free gaming. The key? Steve must never reward himself before the work. The diamond only comes after. Part 6. 6 tricks to outsmart Steve's brain. Trick 1. Gamification. Turn tasks into levels. Earn XP for real life. Every small win earns Steve an XP point. Watch the bar fill. Trick 2. Start small. Steve hates climbing mountains, but Steve doesn't mind 1 block. Just 2 minutes. That's it. Once Steve starts, momentum kicks in. Trick 3. Instant rewards. After finishing a task, give Steve a mini win. 1 chapter done? Mini snack. 20 blocks placed? 5-minute break. Small wins keep Steve going. Trick 4. Steve's crew. Steve alone is lazy. Steve with a squad? Completely different story. When Steve works with his crew, he suddenly doesn't want to be the one slacking. Accountability works wonders. Trick 5. Identity shift. Steve acts according to who he believes he is. If Steve says, "I'm lazy," he stays lazy. If Steve says, "I'm a builder," he builds. Behavior follows belief. Always. Part 7. The real choice. At the end of the day, dopamine isn't the enemy. It's the reason Steve builds, creates, and survives. The question is, where does Steve get his dopamine? From endless scrolling or from growth, building, and real progress? Steve doesn't need to kill dopamine. Steve just needs to crave the right diamonds. So the next time Steve stares at his to-do list, it's not about forcing discipline. It's about outsmarting Steve's brain. The only question is, which diamonds will Steve choose? Steve says thanks. Like this video. Toss him a subscribe. It keeps the diamonds coming. But before that, Steve has one question for you. Which one are you? The one who just needs one more game, one more round, one more hour. You know who you are. The one who shows up every single day, even when it's hard, even when nobody's watching. Steve sees you. And then there's this guy. Wants to grind, opens a game instead. Feels guilty, closes the game, opens it again. Steve is not pointing fingers. Steve is this guy. Okay, Steve is putting the power in your hands. What do you actually want to learn next? Procrastination? Anxiety? Why your brain gives up so easily? Whatever's living rent-free in your head right now, drop it below. Steve is picking the next video straight from your comments, so make it count. Whatever you drop in the comments right now, Steve is turning it into a video. Your struggle, your question, your 3 a.m. problem that nobody talks about. That's the next episode. So what is it?